National Public Sector Solarization Initiative (NPSSI) to provide reliable electricity to public institutions across the country. The Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, Engineer Abba Aliyu, disclosed this on Monday during a visit by the Administrator of National Judicial Institute, NJI, Justice Babatunde Adejumo, to the agency's headquarters in Abuja. Aliyu said the initiative aims to address electricity challenges faced by government institutions, particularly those struggling with inadequate power supply or rising energy costs. He said the program is part of broader efforts by the federal government to expand electricity access through renewable energy solutions. Aliyu explained that the intervention targets public institutions that are undeserved or facing difficulty paying for conventional electricity supply. The federal government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has moved to secure crude oil supply for the Dangote Petroleum Refinery through third-party international traders in a bid to sustain domestic refining operations. This comes as recent market data illustrates the shift in crude sourcing patterns. Reports show that crude imports by Nigeria from the United States surged to 41.13 million barrels in 2025, up 161% from 15.79 million barrels in 2024. It further explained that as the national oil company entrusted with safeguarding Nigeria's energy security, NNPCL remains fully committed to supporting domestic refining, including the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. However, the Dangote Refinery has cautioned that sourcing crude internationally may not immediately reduce pump prices as the current Middle East crisis is affecting overall global energy prices, crude oil, LNG, and other fuels that has implications for refined product pricing globally. Meanwhile, amid the ongoing war in the Middle East, Nigeria's fuel supply system has been affected, resulting in a sudden hike in the petrol prices. The sharp increase in prices, which now range from 1,050 naira to 1,080 naira per litre, is driven by geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and rising global crude oil prices. BCOS reporter Awa Ibrahim monitored the fuel situation within Ibadan metropolis, and her report is presented by Bimbo Akombi.
The latest surge in petrol prices across Nigeria is closely linked to the escalating geopolitical crisis in the Middle East involving Iran, Israel, and the United States, and the conflict has disrupted global oil supply chains and pushed crude oil prices upward. The crisis has already pushed Brent crude prices above $90 per barrel, with projections that prices could climb even higher if the conflict persists. In Ibadan, the pump price of fuel has risen from the previous price of 750 naira to 850 naira and is now selling between 1,050 naira and 1,080 naira per litre during BCOS monitoring. That is talking about petrol. Despite the increase in price, fuel was readily available at most filling stations visited. There were no long queues, although a few stations were observed to be closed. However, the price hike has already begun to affect transportation fares. Motorists expressed frustration over the sudden increase in fuel prices.
Àwọn tí wọ́n jà ní Amẹ́ríkà àti Iran tí wọ́n jà kò wá di pé Nàìjíríà yìí Ọlọ́run mọ̀ bá ní tún ṣe mọ̀ ní o. Kó wọ́n báyìí àwa tó jẹ́ pé àjọ ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran á tún wá ń jẹ egun tó yẹ kó ọ̀dọ̀ wa náà ti ń wá epo tí wọ́n wà ń bíbà ìjọba wa náà á níbi ẹ̀bùfọ̀pọ̀ mẹ́rin odidi mẹ́rin ìkankan ò ṣiṣẹ́ inú ẹ̀ ó yẹ kí kójú gbà wá tì.
Similarly, commercial drivers also expressed concern over the development. They attributed the sudden surge in pump prices to adjustments in depot prices. Some drivers lamented that the increase has affected their daily earnings as the number of passengers they carry has reduced compared to before, with many citizens still struggling to cope with the new prices.
Bàbá rẹ̀ po bóyá 3,000 tó yóò gbé a lọ méjì nígbà wọ́n ti fowó lé kò ní láǹfààní àti gbé a lọ á sì máa ra bí epo 4,000 á fi lọ méjì tó jẹ́ káwa náà fi owó lé àwa náà fi ibi tá à ń gbé 300 á sọ di 400.
935 but as at yesterday I should rà ní 1,080 naira at my own side alongside ọlọ́run dá yẹn pé bó bá ṣe ń wọnú sí náà ni pé màmá wọn sí tàbí bí 1,100.
Daily living.
Republic has named